Yeah, that is
Okay. So the TiE is a worldwide entrepreneurial organization, and TiE Women was started last year. The goal is to support diverse founders from women founders from irrespective of their cultural background. Right? So, as you must know, women-led startups don't receive much VC funding. Only 2.3% of the overall funding went to women. Even though they deliver twice as much money for every dollar that is invested. So women are very efficient with capital, but they end up not receiving money. So we are here in Dallas, which is one of the hottest hub for startups right now, to support that and change it along with Taiwan. So today is a really special day for me for multiple reasons. One is that last year I was the winner of the competition and I went to Dubai and Ram asked me to pick this up. So I'm very happy to see such good companies in the mix. We kicked off the program with a 5K run event, and it was in April when people were just indoors and getting out. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of energy. I believe that running a startup is like running a marathon. Like, you start, you need the energy, you need the passion. There are moments when you feel you can't do it, but then everybody can actually run if you do it, if you practice. So that's my philosophy. That's the reason why we started off with a 5K run. So what you get from here, what the startups get from here, right? So this is just the beginning. So once the applications came in, we did a filtration process and we selected these 5 participants. So this just starts now with the pitch today. After that, they get assigned to mentors. The winner of the competition goes to Dubai, and the 3 runner-ups are going to be put into the acceleration program, which is a global level program. It's really large scale across 54 different chapters across the world, and it has lots of workshops. It has it's a completely virtual program, and of course it's free. You get Google Cloud for starters. You get Microsoft. There are all sorts of participants. After the program, you get. We also have other opportunities like an open mic night where we set up for anyone to come and pitch. And you don't pitch necessarily for funds, you just talk about an idea. Then we gather a list of mentors from all across the globe to ask you questions and guide you. So you can have any ask you want. Could be connecting to somebody, it could be looking for funds, whatever. Give me some advice. We have that also. So this is what, so there are 2 things. So this is how we prepare you. Once we prepare you, then the opportunities and the prizes to global. There are also other programs. There's a TiE Dallas Angel program, which is working here in Dallas. So you can apply to that. And there are also global programs like TTS, Icon, and you get put into a complete funnel of opportunities for companies. So the pitch competition is going to be held in conjunction with GiTex. GiTex is a tech event that happens in Dubai every year, and there are like 30 countries, investors and angels from 30 countries, and there are entrepreneurs from, I think, 750 startups as part of that. So this year, TiE Women has partnered with them, and it's going to be a really grand event at Dubai. We would also look for sponsorship opportunities with from like VCs and from other organizations here. And it's a great place for companies to also showcase their logos there. So now I want to introduce the participants. So we have BIOS like Mary Kabajan. She comes all the way from Houston for this event. So we're very lucky to have her here. We have Inventor Robotics, Mahalakshmi. She is joining virtually.
Okay. Is she there?
She should be there. Okay. Yes. So Mahalakshmi is joining. They moved their company from Bangalore to Dallas. So Dallas is becoming like a hotbed for startups. And the other one is Clickvoyant, Mia Honors, also joined us virtually. Veena Solarity, a neuro rehab, VR, and Anamika from Bremen. So I'll let them introduce themselves. I'm not going to say anything about the companies. And then the judges. We have Juliet Richard. Juliet is on the call virtually from Houston. She's the venture associate from Artemis. Troy Willett, principal at Tech Catter. Tech and Romain Kurosh. Romain is a seasoned entrepreneur who started companies when there was no ecosystem back in which year? 2002.
Yeah, 2000.
Yeah, 2000. So he's done it the really hard way. He's done it the hard way, and he's like, wow, these guys have all these different things. Just I wanted to leave this with a few inspirational things for the startups. One is there are always difficult moments when you run a startup. You all know it's not as glamorous as it looks. And the days when you wake up thinking, what am I doing? You should remember that you see stars only if there's darkness. So the concept is that unless your muscle aches, you're not going to develop. So that's one thing I want you to remember. And the second thing is there's a latest finding about happiness that I read about recently. And basically what it says is that there are three forms of happiness, right? The first, most primitive one is pleasure. And pleasure comes from the oldest type of human being, where it was just about surviving, reproduction, food. So good food, good looking people, sex, that was it. That was enough for me, right? That's pleasure. The second level is flow. So a little more evolved human being, right? So flow is when you're in the zone, you're doing something and you're like so focused that you just don't know time passes, time stops. That's it. And you guys must be experiencing flow many times in your life, right? When you're like into problem solving. And the third level, of course, is meaning. So I would say find your purpose, find what you are passionate about, link it to what you're doing in your company. Make sure that it matters. Make sure that it adds value to the customers, to investors, to yourself, to society, and then your journey will be awesome. That's what I want. Thank you. So with this, I'll hand it over to Mayur. Stop sharing my screen.
All right. Thank you all. Can you all hear me very well?
Yes, we can.
All right, perfect. All right, so the first theme that's going to be going in is BIOS.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining. I want to thank Tina for the opportunity to present today and for being here on a Saturday morning. I appreciate you and just want to recognize that before I begin. I'm Mia, the co-founder of Clickvoyant, and this is Caitlin. She runs a small clothing company. And every morning she's met with a tsunami of digital marketing data from Google, Shopify, Pinterest, MailChimp, Facebook, Klaviyo, just to name a few. But she doesn't have time for all of that. She's busy sourcing fabrics, meeting retailers and manufacturers, among her many other entrepreneurial tasks. But while she was busy with that, she missed $7,000 a month on her leaky e-commerce funnel and bad media spend. Insights like these help small business find dollars in the details. Insights like these help grow revenue efficiently, but these insights are not for her. She doesn't have an analyst to make them, and she won't get one. That role is one of the most competitive and expensive to fill, and this means that our small business owners have no analyst, while Amazon has an army. Small business gets boxed out. Clickvoyant is a SaaS-based AI that solves this problem by turning raw marketing data into insight, just as a human analyst would. We democratize analytics insights by performing statistical research within our software. Our users just connect to their data using their own credentials, and then Clickvoyant goes to work automating a process that would normally take weeks to complete. New customers get their first insights after just 15 minutes of work and a few clicks. Now, these presentations take about 50 human hours to produce. With our product, businesses save time and money on that process. So how much is an insight worth to a smallish business? Well, our e-commerce clients last month found an average of 12 insights worth $120,000. Lead generation clients found an average of 10 insights worth $80,000. For our mid-cap customers, that insight value can get into the millions. When we think about the future of Clickvoyant, what we're most excited about is what our middleware allows us to do. Today, we deliver PowerPoint presentations because that's how businesses communicate with each other. But our Insight API that ingests raw data, then analyzes it, can output to an SMS text, a smartwatch, to Alexa, or any other conversational AI. This allows us to experiment, as my co-founder and I have always done, with insight delivery. Right message, right time, right person doesn't just apply to marketers. We launched our MVP at the start of the pandemic, and each quarter we have done what we said we we're going to do. We were surprised to close our product market fit research with paying customers. We grew by leaps after the Startup Boost accelerator this spring, and are now in the middle of a major product release based on our early customer feedback. Today, our traction includes $10,000 in monthly recurring revenue and 160 websites on our platform. Now, we're going to scale this success by targeting small marketing agencies under 100 employees. They each come with an average of 5 websites. They close the fastest, they drive our bulk sales, and are also feeling that data talent squeeze. But my favorite characteristics of our agency customers is that they refer us to new business. Now, there are 50,000 global agencies, and almost all of them are small. Targeting them will help us establish a foundation to go after the 3 million small business website owners with either e-commerce or advertising spend. At 5% market penetration, Clickvoyant will scale to 800 million in annual revenue. We're killing it because we're taking a unique approach for a SaaS. Most software in our space focuses on dashboard or data collection for that rare analyst. Clickvoyant is the analyst. We do have one really big competitor, but advertising is their main gig. Insights, not so much. We're better because Clickvoyant is data agnostic. We don't only use Google Analytics. We're creating data connections into Shopify, Facebook ads, and partnering with other software companies that can collect marketing data. And our insights have been making it rain for decades at some of the biggest agencies in the world. And now, for less than a daily coffee budget, small business can be as data-driven as large enterprise. Next month, we're kicking off a pre-seed round of 1.2 million. The funds will be used to enhance product features and new data.
Hey, Mia.
Yes?
Sorry to interrupt you. You are off time.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Mia. Judges, whenever you're ready for your questions.
No, I'm really curious to hear what the money's going to be used for. I feel like you had to say that.
Thanks for the opportunity to go back to my original slide. The money is going to be used for primarily R&D. So we have had a lot of upvoted requests by our customer base, and that's for enhanced product features and data connections to other mid-cap digital marketing tools. The remainder will fuel the go-to-market strategies. So we've been built primarily on founder sales, which means me and one other person. So getting that off the ground and funding our go-to-market strategies for marketing.
From a product perspective, what have you built? What platforms have you built your product on? What is actually providing that innovation of these insights? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Most of our, so the software is hosted on AWS. We are building the data science piece on a product called NIME. It is a sort of a WYSIWYG data science. It allows you to build more data science products in a GUI interface versus using Python and redoing code.
And what aspect of the insights are you focusing on initially? There's a range of things. Are you targeting by vertical? What type of specific focus areas are you pursuing?
Absolutely. The focus area is the product itself. So whether it's a mobile application or a website, this is where usually the leads are generated or purchases are made. And I've been a director of analytics for the last 5-6 years, as is my co-founder. And the way we've been successful with our own clients is by focusing on what moves the needle on the bottom line. So we're looking for insights that are statistically significant opportunities to more revenue, more leads, and more customers.
So my question is more generic. If you have, I mean, customers always want more features, right? Mm-hmm. So in terms of your guys' process, how do you validate what's important, nice to have, non-essential, and how many customers or potential customers have you validated these assumptions with?
Well, in the beginning, we were our own customer as directors of analytics in JWT and Omnicom. And I think that the pains that we experienced there have been echoed by our current customer base. The way we prioritize features is to understand the total landscape of all the analytics products out there and where there's a gap. So for example, our current product release includes search engine optimization analysis. The tools out there, there are many complaints about what they do. That's SEMrush, that's Keyword Hero. These are the types of things that we're trying to fill the gap on, rather than compete in a space that's more noisy. For example, media optimization and buying. That's a very noisy space in analytics.
Yeah, we've experienced some accelerator processes, and I feel like it's often echoed like, oh, if you talk to, 5 customers, you start to maybe see something, but if you talk to, 50, you really start to map the market. If you, interview 100, then you actually have a clear picture of what is needed. So, as an early stage investor, we're always scared that somebody's building something that they want themselves, but not other people want. So, how many customers do you guys have, or how many have you interviewed as potential customers to validate those assumptions that you have?
Sure. It's hard to quantify. I think that I've talked to more than at least 65 agencies. We currently have 10 customers. And so, of those agencies that did not subscribe to Clickvoyant, it's mostly search engine companies or other e-commerce companies that are looking for Shopify plus Google Analytics analysis.
We have 30 seconds left. So Julieta, if you need.
Yeah, thank you. Could you clarify if you're selling to marketing agencies or to the small businesses themselves?
Absolutely. I think the agencies are our beachhead strategy because they're closing the fastest and they're feeling that pain. If they're in the direct to business market, there's a lot of education that's required. At our alpha stages, they were very noisy, they needed a lot of statistics education, and we'd like to build that into the platform using the revenue that we're generating from the agencies at the start.
All right. Thanks, judges, for all your questions. We are running out of time here.
Yeah.
Mia?
Yeah, sorry, one quick last question. What is your pricing model? How much you charge?
We're currently in the middle of a pricing strategy and pricing research is very difficult. I think we're charging $300 a month per analysis. The agencies are paying $2,000 a month for bulk reports. And I think we can go higher.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, judges. Thanks, Mia, for your presentation. And thanks for helping out the small, medium businesses and finding an analyst which they are missing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Troy, Roman, are you done with your scoring? Tina, can you check with Troy and Roman?
Yeah, we're
All
ready.
right.
You ready?
Got it. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. So, Mary, we will go ahead and get started whenever you are. And it will be a 5 minutes presentation followed by 5 minutes of Q&A.
Okay, thank you very
Right?
much.
Cool.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much. So we all know that the healthcare space is ripe for disruption, especially across the data space. At BIOS, we're giving healthcare a hand. In doing so, we're addressing three major problems: the redundancy of health data, which is entered every time we go to the hospital or medical professional, the access and sharing, which is highly restricted, if at all, and the ability to have transparency between providers. John Hopkins did a report not long ago that said 250,000 to 400,000 people a year die in early death, specifically in the States, due to diagnostic errors, system failures, and preventative safety measures. That's a daunting number considering we've just hit over 600,000 just with COVID. At BIOS, we believe in the power of one. We're addressing this through one-time entry of medical history, updated when changes happen to your health, one comprehensive view of health information, one biometric scan of your hand that could one day save your life. We do this through a revolutionary solution that's called the BIOS HealthPass. In the app, we have patented biometric capability that actually scans your entire hand, all 5 fingerprints, the palm print, the depth and the vein structures of your hand to identify you and all of your health information, no matter where you are in the world. We've integrated IoT and telehealth capabilities. We're HIPAA and GDPR compliant to make sure that we are addressing all of the health regulations, backed by blockchain security to ensure that we've got the highest level security protecting your records, with real-time sharing globally, and AI-powered personalized health experience to allow each one of us to live a healthier life. The global market is massive in the healthcare space. Last year alone, we spent $8.3 trillion in healthcare, a lot of that due to COVID, of course, which was 10% of the world's GDP. But if you look at all the markets that make up this particular healthcare space, there is incredible opportunity to decrease liability, decrease costs, and increase efficiencies, and BIOS sits right in the middle of that. We do this by completing, not competing with our competition. So we play that data aggregator that are bringing down the walled gardens and creating that interoperability between companies to where we allow our largest competitors to actually become our largest customers. So traction to date, we completed our MVP last year in March. I spent the last 2 years in India, actually, in Chennai, working with an amazing team. When COVID hit, we were able to pivot from a minimal viable product to a meaningful viable product. And that allowed us to expand our feature set, really get a rich user experience. We talked to over 2,000 doctors and lay people around the world and what mattered to them and had them on this journey with us. We've made it to beta. We've got some incredible customers already signed up with us, both in India and in the US, and we have a great pipeline that get us to the end of the year and into next year. So where do we go from here? We have a B2B model, and we're working with universities, insurance companies, and enterprise businesses to be able to support that model. We are focusing on getting to 1 million members by the end of next year, and then expanding into larger international markets. Our 5-year revenue, we're right on track. We've already made the 2 million. We've got that set to hit the books before the end of the year with the existing customers that we have. And we have a great trajectory moving forward in the next year. So where does our spend go? We're looking for 3.5 million in capital. A large part of that will be over our product development and team. So we are working towards all of the AI capabilities and finalizing all of the hardware and software components around the biometric capability. We're looking to bring in some data scientists, some senior medical staff members, and some executives around myself and the team that's in place to help us and increase our development team as well as bring in an R&D office. In doing so, we also need to increase our sales and marketing reach, and then operations as we look to span over quite a few countries in the next couple of years. Our team, over 80 years in the business, the three of us. Amy and Ben, I met at Shell. They both left Shell. Amy is a retired CIO from Shell. Ben was the right hand of the CISO there. And myself, I've been in this industry over 2 decades, traversing all of technology stack. But these are the real game changers. Incredible team in India, over 70 years experience across building really world-class mobile applications. And I am so blessed to have them on my side. They are my extended family. We hope that you'll join hands with us. I'll leave you with this remark. There are a few companies that have really changed a market forever. Apple changed the way we listen to music. Amazon changed the way we buy and read content from books. Airbnb changed the way we think about where do we stay and how do we travel. And BIOS is going to forever change the way we access, view, and share health information as we move forward. Thank you for your time.
Hi, Mary.
Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks,
Sorry.
Mary. No, you were perfect on time. So
Thank you.
Can I go ahead?
yes, I will go ahead and start the timer for Q&A.
No, awesome. Thank you. So I'm curious, can you tell me a little bit more about where you are in the actual product launch? Is the biometric scanner and the aggregator completely on the market?
Great question. We are going live in the end of September. So, and the biometric piece will follow six months behind. So we are working with our hardware providers right now. That's why we're raising the capital. We really need the capital. I've bootstrapped the company to date. I've got about almost $400,000 into the company to date. But now we need the extra capital to go out there and finish up the work with the hardware and software components and build the AI engine. But the rest that I've spoken about, everything's ready to go.
Awesome.
All right, Troy and Romain, if you want to go next, either one of you.
Okay, sorry, just have to take it off of mute there. Video maybe. So Mary, could you maybe explain a little bit about the model and who you view as your real customer in across, both when you talk about aggregation of data as well as the end user that's using this. So maybe that would help in terms of who actually pays you.
Sure. Troy, I want to make sure I didn't catch it. You're skipping in and out a bit. I didn't catch the first part of the question. The second part, who actually pays the bill? I got that part, but the first part I missed. I'm sorry.
Just what your business model is.
Okay. Yeah, great questions. Thank you, Troy. So, so who's paying for it? Today we think the system's broken because of the fact that we don't have access, we as our own individual owner of data. So we're flipping the model. We're going after insurance companies, universities, and businesses to actually make the payments, right? We've got an EHR, smaller size EHR platform, and doctors and institutions that will actually utilize it will pay an extra fee for that. But for the most part, the actual payers will be a B2B model set up towards insurance companies, universities, and enterprise and businesses. Yeah? And the business model, it is a B2B model, right? And so we do have a fixed cost. Like for universities, we'll be charging $60 per student per year. And we will work with the universities, for example. We've quite a few of those that we're working with today and getting ready to go live with in September. We have 37 universities across India and a couple here that we're getting ready to sign contracts with in Texas. And so we'll charge them, and they will put that into the fees of the students.
And how are you integrating with existing systems, say medical EMR systems, so forth, to actually do all that, Epic, Athena, et cetera, et cetera?
Great questions. So that was very difficult to do before this past year. Now legislation has passed that says these EHR systems must play nicely with other healthcare and health tech companies out there. So, so now we're able to start sitting at the table with those particular companies, right? And because we're really not competing with them, those companies do not have the capabilities that we've built in BIOS. And so we're sitting at the table looking at how do we, through API connectivity, pull data from those systems and put the necessary data in your profile in BIOS that allows you to have a complete profile and allows your medical professionals to be able to scroll through that profile very quickly and understand your current health needs and conditions, right? So we are having those conversations. We're building a framework that actually brings that data in and allows for that interoperability between existing systems. And of course, for many places who don't have existing systems, we will help them by delivering BIOS as an EHR system.
How many customers do you currently have for that 2 million in revenue?
Yes, we have 3 customers in the pipeline. 3 customers that are contracted with us, and we've got 7 in the pipeline.
I guess another question I have is on what is like the attractive piece of the product? Is it the security from the biometric scanning piece, or is it the aggregator that really sells?
I think both of those, when in our interviews, majority of it is the fact that if you think about it like this, Juliet, there are so many people even in the globe. So we're looking at an international stage, by the way, right? It just wasn't built for the States. Okay. So there are so many people that do not have the ability to even have access to health information, right? And so for them, the ability to be able to walk into any facility and put their hand up to be authenticated and all of your health information brought in, that was just absolutely at the top of their list. Especially, we've done a lot of work with ER doctors. One of the most ER doctors here in the States actually redesigned the interface with me for the user profile. So that was huge for us. And so ER doctors are all over it. We're talking to a lot of these stand-up ER companies as well, and they are bringing us in to use us as the patient portal to be able to give that information to the individual patients. And of course, for patients, the ability to have one place where all of their information can be held, that's huge. As you know, we all struggle with. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Mary, and thanks, judges, for your questions. Thanks, Mary, for taking this step in reforming the healthcare system. So appreciate that.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'll stop sharing now.
All right, judges. So whenever you're ready, Veena, we can go ahead and get started here.
Okay, awesome. Everybody can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for the opportunity for TiE Women Dallas and also Tina, and for everybody to take your time on a Saturday. So I'm Veena, the CEO of Neuro Rehab VR, here to introduce you to the next generation of rehabilitation. Each year, millions of Americans suffer from a stroke, and Joe here is one of them. His stroke left him paralyzed on one side and he cannot really move his fingers. But there is hope for Joe and millions of others. The concept of neuroplasticity suggests that your brain has the ability to recover from a stroke. That is, the healthy parts of your brain can take over the functionality of the damaged areas. But this requires extensive physical therapy and cognitive training. So Joe, he wants to get better, but physical therapy can be expensive. Clinics are really far and apart, so transportation is a problem, and only about 30% of patients actually make it to all of their physical therapy sessions. And on most days, he's in pain or depressed to actually go to the clinic. And when he does, he feels that therapy is boring and tedious and does not want to do it. And because of COVID, there has been a bigger impact where clinics are shutting down and people are not able to access the therapy that they actually need. Moreover, there are about 74 physical therapists per 100,000 Americans, but the number of people who are turning 65 and older are growing faster than the US population. So there is a need for physical therapy and also physical therapists. That is why we develop virtual reality applications of physical therapy, leveraging the concept of neuroplasticity. We're housed inside a neuro clinic, so we're able to have access to physical therapists and patients every day and watch them use our systems and iterate it according to the feedback that we receive from them. And the offices you see back there are ours, so we're able to see them use it almost every day. And as we started to work with these patients, we realized that each of them had varied functional abilities depending on the diagnosis, especially for stroke to spinal cord to Parkinson's to MS. So we had to create a suite of exercises that can work on your upper extremity, your lower extremity, balance, core control, and also stress and anxiety, along with the data analytics that the therapists and the patients need to see their progress reports. So now we're able to provide a turnkey solution for all of our clinics. So our product is an FDA registered medical device. It is portable and scalable. The gamified therapy is highly engaging for the patients and provides a new therapy tool for our therapists. There's a vast body of research that shows VR is effective and it's really good for physical therapy. It is also being reimbursed by insurance, and we've built a HIPAA compliant platform to track patient progress. So we follow a B2B SaaS model, and we sell to hospitals with outpatient and inpatient physical therapy clinics, universities, senior care centers, and our customers right now are top tier hospitals in the US, such as Ascension, Tenet, and also the VA. The physical therapy market has been highly fragmented, and there has been a lot of consolidation happening right now when bigger hospitals are buying up smaller clinics. So according to the slide, with just 2 of our customers, we have an opportunity to realize 7 million revenue if we can expand to all of their locations. The market is large. Just in the US, the physical therapy market is $60 billion, growing at a 7% rate. We started in the neurology space, we've expanded to geriatrics and pediatrics, and now we're working with orthopedic patients. So there is a vast opportunity for vertical market expansion with just the current library of exercises that we have. And the global rehab market is about $200 billion. We have done a lot with less. We have built all of the in-house algorithms. We are FDA approved as a class 2 medical device. We have built all the therapy exercises in-house and clinically validated with hundreds of patients. We have issued patents and also trademarks and won federal grants. Our team is very experienced. I have a background in computer science, medical simulation and training, and our senior engineers are pioneers in the VR space and have PhDs. The core team has been working together for more than 9 years now. Our clinical team are experts in vestibular rehab and neuro rehab and orthopedics, and now we are forming our sales and marketing team. For us, we have found product market fit, and all of the customers we have right now have been inbound, and we have 95% renewal rates from last year. So our focus right now is to execute our growth phase by raising 1.5 million in seed round, and most of that money would go to sales and marketing to grow our team and reach our revenue goals so we can raise a Series A next year, and also have a technology lead with new exercises and assessment that our clients have requested. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Veena. You were right on time. I think you all have perfected the pitch to less than 5 minutes.
I got lucky.
Great job. And it's fascinating to see how technology comes and plays a crucial role in helping the real world problems, which is kind of technology for good. Mm-hmm. All right, I will go ahead and let the judges ask the questions here.
Yeah, I had a question. So, we talk about the market size and the customers, and it seems thought through of who you want to approach first and after. But I was just curious, you said you wanted to charge as a service, SaaS, but what is that in comparison to the value that's actually created for them? So, if they're passing on that cost to their customers or insurance companies, how much is that hospital making with this therapy versus how much they're paying you? Because, just financially, why is it worth it for them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the question is, why would customers keep paying for our service, right? So that I understand. Yeah.
Between what they pay and what they get.
You're breaking up a little bit, so I can answer the question, hopefully. So the reason our customers buy our system, again, all of this has been inbound. For hospitals, they get paid about, you'd say, $1,000 to $2,000 per patient, and that's a fixed payment. So if the patient goes home and they come back and they have readmissions, they don't get paid more. So with patient engagement, they're also having better compliance where patients are coming back to do their therapy and now able to recover faster and to a better level than they can without our system. So reducing those readmissions for hospitals, and also they can continue the care at home since it's a wireless system. So that's the reason they buy our applications. And with our applications, we do monthly releases. We are on a monthly cadence. We also release new exercises. So we're always expanding the suite of applications they can have and add features that they usually ask us for, especially if we have more than 3 of our customers ask for the same feature. I hope that answered your question.
What is the margin for the hospital after buying it and then selling it to their patient?
So the hospital is not selling it to their patient.
Well, selling their services, after the patient uses them. Yeah.
The margins in hospitals is very high. So I'm sure it's almost 85 to 90% for them. With our systems, the price is very low compared to the $100,000 to $200,000 equipment that they usually buy.
Got it. Thank you.
So we've never had a pushback on our pricing till now. Yeah.
What is your pricing? So how do you charge for this, and what are the number one, and number two, what are the different elements of the solution that they get as part of this service package?
Sure. Yeah. So it's $950 per month. And hospitals usually have to do a 1-year contract. We have 3-year contracts too with them. And they get all of our exercises that we have built, new exercises as we build them, access to the data portal so that they can track patient progress. And that's another add-on, because right now physical therapy is very subjective. They don't really have quantitative data unless they do evaluation, which happens at once in 2 weeks or once in a month. But now with every session, they're getting quantitative data on the patient progress. So that is huge, which is really required for reimbursements and also insurance reimbursements. And the patient engagement is the biggest piece. So they also get training. We onboard them, and they have access to all of our training videos. And we release the first virtual reality and physical therapy continuing education course in the world.
And how scalable is it within a facility? How many simultaneous sessions can you run? You have 10 training packages, but how many simultaneous can you run in a given facility? And therefore, what is the footprint of compute that you need on site to do that?
Okay, so our device is portable, and it's we charge per device. So you can only use it with one patient at a time. So that's why the locations can buy more than one system. So our average for the VA has been 3 devices per location. So they can buy how many ever devices they would like.
Is any sort of like per patient pricing baked into your business model, or is it just the flat fee?
We do not have patient pricing baked in right now. We just felt like we are too early to do that, and it's more work on infrastructure for us too. We've definitely thought about it, but we're going to stick to the flat fee right now. But we could, depending on how things go, we could change it to the per patient pricing.
In your presentation, one of the issues you mentioned is transportation to hospitals. Is there any sort of, like in the future, in-home service via VR?
We've actually did a trial this year. We were thinking of doing focusing on in-house, but we wanted to do a trial before we jumped into it. So we sent the systems home to patients. So we created a therapy plan for them to follow, and it went amazingly well. The outcomes were just phenomenal. But then our margins was 25% on the in-home therapy versus 85% on our B2B. So we decided to stick to the B2B until we grow, and we've had really good revenues going, and then that we could definitely expand to telemedicine in the future around 2023.
All right. Thanks, Meena, for your answers, and thanks, judges, for your questions. At this point, if you guys can put the scores in while we...
Okay. Once again, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and present here. A special thanks to Tina and DFW ATW members who actually looked at the thing which I'm developing, and they were behind this to come and nominate me for TiE. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to the judges who are listening to me today. So in the world of data, AI, and analytics, I'm here to talk about the core, which is human and human-to-human connections. They use ease of connecting with security, giving power in the hands of the recipient to choose their needs. But more than that, developing a society which understand the power of giving and associated happiness, which Tina actually was alluding towards in her presentation. So as COVID hit, one of the things which I started thinking was, how do I connect beyond these 4 walls? How can I show gratitude? How can I show warmth, create community, stay human, be empathetic, have that happiness, right? And that kind of kept me going and thinking, is like, what is that I can create? Is there something existing that can connect giver like me to a receiver like John, who's delivering my packages every day, right? And he was right there on the road while I was sitting in the 4 walls, secure with my family, getting all the necessity what I needed. That's where I created something called Pranam Thank You. Pranam Thank You is a platform which connects giver like you and me to redeemer like John and Ms. Brosnahan and many like them who are actually right there on the front end doing the thing they need to be doing. It is a platform which connects heart to heart. So as I was speaking, we all have seen this data. We all are seeing this data. We all are following this data, but I'm not here to talk about this one. I'm here to talk about, Jeannie, who actually is one of the favorite person at the George Cafe where I go. She is still delivering the coffees there. I'm here to talk about John, who delivers my packages every day. I'm here to talk about Ms. Brajnahan, who is the teacher in Cottonwood Creek teaching my kids, and many others like them who are right there, still doing things they need. I'm here to talk about all these people which belong to several different communities, right? Pronoun Thank You Initiative is a not-for-profit organization. It's a PBC, Public Benefit Corporation, founded to provide a secure and easy platform for people to share flexible gift card. Now, what is flexible gift card? Today in the day when I have to give somebody, what I do, I actually go to the store, I pick up a card, it's a Subway card, it's a Target card, it's a Costco card. It's actually attached to a brand. But there are cards like Visa and others, but when you take them and you give them, there's a service charge behind it. So I wanted to create something which gives the power back in the hands of the recipient to decide what kind of card they need, because the need for you is not the need for me today, right? So if my need is to go and pick up a jacket in Target, it may not be the need for John. Probably his need at that time is picking up a toy for his son, which he couldn't afford, right? So I wanted to kind of bring that flexible gift card thing. So our mission is to make sure we help create an ecosystem of sharing thanks from one kind heart to another. This is how the platform works. So it connects giver, as I was talking about, you and me, to redeemer, like John and several others. Giver account, I can just get onto Pronoun Thank You. I can purchase the gift card as a cash card. And the best part is I do not have to print this on a plastic card. I can just print it on an A4 size paper, print it at the convenience of my home or wherever I am. I can keep this in my car and my purse, wherever I wish to. And then whenever there's a need, if it's a seasonal gift, it's a random gift, it's like, you really kind of picked up that I do need to say thank you to this person. You just take that out and give it to them. Now, as a redeemer, when John receives that card from Anamika, all he needs to do, he comes to the same site, the same website, Pronoun Thank You, and he can decide out of 270 different brands what card he wants out of the gratitude which he's received from Anamika and several others in the community. And then he can also become a giver. So I'm creating, with this platform, I'm creating a community of giving.
Anamika, sorry to interrupt you, but I think you're run out of time.
Thank you. Just wanted to kind of quickly show this is how the card looks like, and this is how the Redeemer website looks like, where they can pick up the store from. So I'll stop here.
All right, judges, whenever you're ready.
So how do you see the financial sustainability of the nonprofit model?
Sorry, we can barely hear you. Sorry.
So how do you navigate?
Can you repeat your question? I think we can barely
I was
hear
just
you.
wondering about the financial model behind it.
I think he's asking about the business model. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So if I heard you correctly, I think you're trying to find out what is the business model which is going to support this business. So there are a couple of funding sources where this business will get supported from. It's like individual donors like you and me, guests. They can actually give it as a guest or as a member. I will also have the sponsors like corporate organizations who have the CSR initiative in supporting the pillars. In fact, if you know the numbers, 60% of the organization, when they support a cause like this, they actually have the rise in their business. So, and as a as a corporate social responsibility, they love to kind of support social causes like this. And then also the gift card vendors who actually will be partnering with us and kind of getting the cards. They will be they are also our sponsors. It will be online and in-store card purchase as well. And then I will have a board members who actually will be kind of guiding us, advising us to move forward. So this is my revenue and the cost for 3 year, which has been put there. In terms of the exit strategy, it would be more about where I will have a 20% equity and then lifelong head for the charitable trust. So I hope it kind of answers your question.
Could you talk a little bit more about your background and your team if you have one?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking that question. So I have always been an entrepreneur in large organizations where I run marketing. And I have always been a marketer lifelong, but this is the first entrepreneur initiative that I have put forward. I come with an experience of more than 15 years into the industry. I have worked into technology industry all my life. So I deal with, data, predictive analytics, digital quantum, and digital annealer and quantum computing and all those kind of stuff. I'm working with some of the best minds in the industry as I started working on this initiative, and they belong to several different kind of industry, coming from manufacturing to logistics, supply chain, and the actual citizens in here. So yeah.
And what is your kind of your go-to-market? When do you plan to launch?
This is already live there. So we will be launching this, starting September. This is all ready to go live. I already have a few members, part of already kind of signed up. And then the plan in terms of this is going to get launched in domestic region first in the US and all the states, because this is where the website or the initiative is focused. And as an expansion, my plan is to first get into Europe and then from there to India. Because as I expand into the different region, I plan to add on to the different languages, different currency, different payment system, which will be part of this initiative, and making it easy for people to access the cards.
How are you creating the transactions between receiving payment and then transacting that with the existing vendor ecosystem to then link that for the redeemer?
Very good question. So right now, for giver to give, they actually use the PayPal system, which is a secure system to access and give. And for redeemer side, I have a partnership with called Gift Hub, which provides the relationship with this 270 different brands. And they actually have no charge directly put it to us and not even to the redeemer. It actually comes from their model where they charge it to the gift card companies. Right. So the value goes directly to the redeemer, the full value.
Right. Thank you all.